What's up, Kim folk? Just want to get on here and give y'all a big shout out from Tennessee. Hope everybody's doing very well today. Uh, yeah, I just wanted to talk to you, man, about thinking outside the box. I know Americans out here they're struggling, man. They're struggling. Inflation's crazy. You know, everything is just crazy high prices. I never would have thought I'd love the place no more than I love Tennessee, but I was proven wrong. It took just a few months to. It really didn't take a whole lot of convincing, uh, but to get outside of this world and then look back at it, and you think, I mean, the medical care is so much cheaper in Southeast Asia, whether you're in Vietnam, Thailand, uh, Cambodia, Philippines, probably Japan too, Uh, but I just want to encourage y'all, man. If y'all been thinking about it, then just do it. Just go do it. I mean, that's the best way to do it. Just you don't really have to sell out. Um, but I know a lot of guys that have. I see some bloggers that said they just sold everything, and now they're living in the Philippines. They're living in Vietnam and Thailand and living their best life. So they and they just did it. They was outside the box thinkers, and me too. I mean, really, I'd been thinking outside the box for four years, I guess, probably, And then when I got blowed off that platform a little over a year ago now, it just made me realize how short life is. It could be taken in an instant. So uh, yeah, I would just do it. You know, don't be searching online for the love of your life unless you go to Christian Filipina. I've heard a lot of good things about Christian. Yeah, it costs money. It's not a free app, but you get what you pay for. I mean, these people they vet the ladies on there. They really, you know, go through them to make sure that that's really what they're looking for. You uh, and what you're looking for. If you want one single mom, boom, they got it. You want one that don't have children, they got it. You can pretty much pick your perfect person, and if she's serious about love and she's wanting love, and you are too, you're gonna find it. I mean, me personally, I do boots on the ground. You know, go buy you a plane ticket and get out of here, and you're gonna find out that the you know the weight your weight loss will be number one. You'll start losing weight like crazy. You can eat bread out there. You can eat anything. You can eat pasta. You can eat pork. You know, and you're going to lose the weight. I did. I lost 110 pounds in 10 months. No exercise involved. So uh, just healing. Really, I was just healing. I mean, it's that has to be in the food. It has to be a food source because that was the only thing different. I was eating in a different country. Now, yeah, it's hot. I sweat like crazy, so maybe that had something to do with it. Being in a sauna out there. But yeah, I love it. I can't wait to get back to my bucket bass, to my bone gun. Everything, everything that I got accustomed to there. Um, that's what I want to get back to. So. And I am. I plan on it. I don't know when it'll be. This workers' comp thing's dragging out, dragging out. It's just something I got to deal with. Sorry about the shaking. I'm trying to open up my Coke Zero here. There we go. Yeah, Coca-Cola Zero. Mm. Yes, sir. I love them. I started drinking them in the Philippines, and really I haven't slowed up much, you know. But zero sugar, it's got aspartame in it. I know it's y'all probably gonna be like, oh, that's bad, whatever. You know, it's my caffeine, that and coffee. But yeah, yeah. I hope everybody's having a blessed day today. I just want you to think outside the box, man. Don't be caught up in this high inflation, this high medical. Everything is higher in America. You know, now don't get me wrong. The wages have increased here, so you can make a good living, but all your living's going to go to bills, every bit of it. You and I guess that's kind of the Western standard. You know, rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So, but my my issues with this country is the geoengineering that's taking place. The spraying of the skies. This is not Vietnam. This is America. And even though Tennessee's passed the Clean Skies Act, uh, July of last year, 2024, man, I still see them dousing. I still see them up there spraying the skies. Like, what are they putting in the air? They get paid $10 a gallon to go spray this stuff. But we're having to breathe it. And I tell you, the first 2 months of me being in the Philippines, I was snotting like crazy, like mucus coming up. Just hawking it up and blowing it out my nose for 2 months. So it had to be what I was breathing over here. You get over there, man, you're breathing clean air again. All that other junk's gonna come out. And I'm a non-smoker, so it's not like that's not a reason. Uh, so geoengineering, the high cost of living, is just it's just crazy. It's just ridiculous. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed still to be here from that accident. Uh, really looking forward to getting back, getting on with my life, moving forward. You know, with whatever God holds in front of me. Uh, it's just that's kind of my way of thinking. You can take it as salt for information purposes only, but if you're looking for love, you're gonna find it. You know, you will find it. You just may have to look a little harder. Think outside the box, man. The women over here, their morals. Not all women, of course, not all women, but the one that do have morals, most of them's already taken. You know, and it's just I just don't belong over here no more. It took me a long time to realize it, but a short time to get over it. Really, very short. Once I got out there, and yeah, I had you know infection in my leg that was from here, got carried into the Philippines, uh, had surgery out there, blah blah blah. Bunch of healing. But I made it. I made it through. So it's it's great. It's a great life, man. You just got to live it. You know, you just got to live it. Whatever you get knocked down, get up. You know, it may not be instant. You know, there's no healing. It's gonna be just instant. But uh, this right here is kind of my therapy. So I sit here and I talk to the camera, kind of give y'all my 2 cents. You can take it if you want to, if you don't. But there's a lot. There's Filipina Cupid. There's so many different uh, dating apps out there. Tinder and all this stuff, and it's just different, man. It's it's way different than the world that I grew up in. These cell phones has got everybody logged in, logged on all the time so they can track you. And, you know, when it gets to a government wants to know your every move, like, uh, if we survive for 250 years and longer without cell phones, without all this stuff, I mean, when you're taking your eyes off of protecting the country, and then you're putting your eyes on something different, like wanting to know everybody's business, wanting to know what this part, man, it, that's crazy. It's just crazy. No common sense in that whatsoever. Because 99.9% of us love our home country, and I'm telling you, you can love other countries more than what you love your home country. Uh, I do. I ain't gonna lie, I do. Uh, and I'm going back. I'm going back uh, just as soon as I can. It'll be 2026 sometime in 2026. But, buddy, I'll be on the flight and be singing bells and whistles all the way there. Can't wait to get off that plane. Touchdown. Uh, the people over there in the Philippines is great. The food is fantastic. The weather is hot, sticky, it's rainy. The culture is completely different, like completely different. So if you're going to be dating a Filipino, expect tempo. You know, they get mad, but then they get over it. They're very jealous, very jealous. So expect that. You know, uh, and just don't talk to no other girls. Not even on Facebook, because the jealousy factor will be an issue. I know it was with me, because here I have best friends that are females, and everybody's cool with that. We look at them as one of the guys. There, not so much. You won't have a best friend that's female. Not be in a relationship. Uh, but I've got good friends over there that I've met. I'm now a godfather over there to baby Alex, my compadre Ryan. That's who I wanted to save me in my last video, because he's the national police. Uh, great guy, great family. Uh, it's just different. I ate deep fried grasshoppers for the first time in my whole life when I went out there, and now I love them. I actually crave them. I mean, people think, "Oh, you're crazy." No, I'm not crazy. It's delicious. What other food? Duck adobo. Oh my gosh. Oh, what I'd give to have duck adobo right now. And pancit canton, and lumpia, and the fresh watermelon, and the fresh papaya. Oh man, you know that's life for me. Drinking the coconut water out of a fresh green coconut. Uh, Heck, I'll tell you a story. I was walking down the road, just and I seen this dude wet a tree, and he was cutting them coconuts out, and these people was down here on the ground picking them up, loading them on this trailer, and the guy spotted me, and he comes down. He was like, and it was hot. Oh my gosh, it was so hot that day. He's like, "Hey, you want some coconut water?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How much?" "No, no money." And he took his knife off the side, cut that sucker open. Oh my gosh, that was the best drink. The best drink. So, it's different, but you gotta, don't bring your Western attitude, your Western, because you're so stressed over here. And I think that's by design. I think everybody stays stressed over here. Out there, you know, there is no stress. I didn't have any stress. So, go where you're treated the best. You know, if your health, if your health's not good in one country, doesn't mean it ain't gonna be great in another country, because it will be. I can testify to that. You're gonna lose weight. You're gonna feel great. It's just, if it happened to me, it can happen to you. So don't be uh, a procrastinator. Don't just sit there and think about it for 10 years, because there's 10 years that you're wasting. You know, just go do it. If you're thinking about it, if your heart's tugging on you, go do it. And it don't have to be the Southeast Asia. Heck, it could be, you know uh, Argentina. It could be anywhere down south. Um, I've seen a few vloggers go down there, and and they love it. So, you just got to think outside the box. You really got to, what's best for you. Do what's best for you, mentally, physically, uh, and let God just draw your path for you. You know, me, uh, and you do learn a lot by watching these vlogs. You learn what to take, what to look for, the red flags about your female out there. If she's got more than one account, uh, Facebook, Instagram, uh, or TikTok, they got more than one account, you know, that's a red flag. You know, uh, it's it's just, dating out there is not. It's easy, in a lot, in a sense, it's easy, but uh, in a way, you just got to be careful. You got to be careful. Be, looking for them red flags always. Asking for money all the time, or just, just just use your discernment if you got it. Just use it. Go on your gut feeling. You know, it's getting cold here. It's rainy. I was really, man. Last year was the first year that I spent out, not a winter in Tennessee. Oh, it felt so good. It feels so good to be out there in that heat. Oh, I just, you know, I can't even explain it. And Christmas is big in the Philippines, so it's just different, and I miss it. So I just want to encourage you guys. I want you to be sitting here like I did for 4 or 5 years, and not knowing, hey, just go out. I didn't know anybody. I mean, I knew my LDR and her family. That's it. But I met all these people. I'm telling you, you meet new friends. Uh, I very Where I was at down there in Mindanao, the only time I really see foreigners is at the mall. So if you go to the mall, you're gonna see other white folks, uh, but you're not gonna see them. I mean, I run into one at 7-Eleven, but I'd already been there for several months. Probably 7 months, 8 months, something like that. And I ran into one at 7-Eleven right up the street from my place, and come find out he was from St. Louis, Missouri, and said he'd been living over there for 12 years. Of course, he had a wife, family, everything. So he done got set up, and ultimately that's the goal. Go out there, find you a good Providence girl, one that ain't, uh, been westernized, or one that ain't just had one. Because what they do is some of them will, they see these other girls, they see the Western boyfriends, and they're buying them stuff. And I know my ex, she would always, well, I seen this video. I said, well, that ain't me. I'm not, you know, that's not reality. You know, some guys do buy. Some guys buy their love. But really that ain't love. That's just money. So you want to find you one that's going to take care of you, that loves you for who you are, uh, and that accepts you no matter what, you know, and you'll find her. It may take you a few, 2 or 3 tries, or 4 or 5 tries, who knows? But the longer you stay there, the more you learn, and the easier everything gets. Go get your Philippine driver's license. You want to do that before you even buy a motorcycle. So go get your Philippine driver's license. Go get your ACR card, which is uh, something that's required by the Philippines. So go get all that stuff. Get your address. So you want to rent you a place, and go do all that. Get that taken care of. Then go get you a motorcycle, or buy you a car. You can even buy secondhand cars, used cars out there. Well, they all go on kilometers out there, so it's half of the mileage. So if it's 15,000 kilometers, man, that car ain't even been drove much, and you can find deals. But like I said, the longer you stay, the better off you'll be. The longer you're there, the more acclimated you'll get to everything. And Facebook, they use Facebook like Marketplace. That's a good place to find places to rent. Uh, so I'm just trying to help you guys out. I really hope that you go do it. You know, uh, Go check it out. If nothing, go check it out. If it ain't for you, come back to this geoengineering place. I mean, they love you. It shows you by every time they're up in the sky spraying their, junk, whatever it is. I heard it's aluminum, barium, and strontium, and God knows what it is. But, may God forgive them, for trying to be like Him, because we all know there's one God. He's sitting on the throne right now, and he's the Almighty, everlasting, the Alpha and the Omega. So we got to put all of our trust in Him, all of our trust in the Lord, uh, and just let man run it right into the ground, because that's basically what they're doing. They're taking something that God created that's beautiful and perfect, and making putting buildings everywhere, parking lots, and paving everything, covering it all up, building dams, not letting the water flow. You know, and when you get to something like that, and you're just trying to control all the people, and kind of control the water, control the weather, control, man, I'm telling you, better look up, get on them knees and look up, ask for forgiveness, because I see now why we need a Savior. I really do. I see now why we need a Savior. But man, I hope everybody has a blessed day out there. Get out there and make somebody smile. Have a good time, uh, and most importantly, think outside the box. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next video.